Okay, now up until this point, we have gone over a lot of things conceptually. Now let's kind of go a little bit deeper on the numbers and how these policies actually work from a monetary standpoint, how we actually structure and set up these policies. So when we refer to a blueprint, okay, everybody's blueprint is going to be different. Everyone is going to have a certain set of parameters, right? A minimum and a maximum that they can contribute, that the insurance company is going to say, hey, you can do these numbers on a minimum scale or a maximum scale every single year. We can't go over those numbers because then it's called a MEC, a modified endowment contract. All that means is that at that point, your premiums get taxed. We don't want that. The whole reason we're doing this is for tax-free growth. Yes, again, these policies are life insurance, so it grows tax-free. All of your growth in the account grows tax-free. You can take it out tax-free. That's one of the biggest advantages and why we utilize this tool. Please understand something. I have yet to find, and other advisors in the industry have yet to find a tool holistically that can pull off exactly what we do for this methodology using insurance. Okay, if there was a bond out there that did this same exact tool and gave the same rates of returns and allowed you to earn interest on your money as it's growing and use that same money and it was tax-free, I'd go use that. I don't care if it's I don't care what vehicle it would be. It doesn't matter the name of the vehicle. And that's where a lot of people get hung up on, well, this is life insurance. I don't need that life insurance. We are hacking the tax code utilizing this type of policy for a specific reason. So again, this could be a bond, this could be a specific stock, or if this could be pulled off, I don't care what the vehicle was, right? If you could run money through some sort of magical device at the corner of a bakery, some magic bakery, right? Where you could put money into a vehicle that would just print money and give you interest, and then you could pull that money back out and leave the bakery and then go use that money somewhere else. Well, heck, if that was the case, I'd go find that bakery. I'd go use that. I don't care what the vehicle is. A good financial plan or a good strategist will help utilize different vehicles to pull off certain strategies. So with that said, I just wanted to make that clear. We're using this insurance policy as a tool, nothing more, nothing less. This is where your store of value sits. That's it. This is not an investment vehicle. This is a strategy vehicle. So let's dive into what these actual blueprints look like and some examples using some real numbers. All right. So in this example, going back to the base versus PUA. So again, the blue bar graph here and the orange bar graph both represent premium dollars going into your policy or a client's policy, okay? The way that we structure these, please understand both sides of these are earning interest. The PUA money is immediately available to use on a loan, okay? So in this first example on the left, this would be year one. You just started a policy, okay? Year one, the client says, hey, we want to dump in $20,000 total annual contribution. At a 40-60 blend, $8,000 of that would go to the base, $12,000 would go to the PUA. That $12,000 is immediately liquid. Again, both sides of that equation, the $8,000 and the $12,000 are all earning interest. So again, you can look at this as a savings vehicle. You can look at this as a investment strategy, even though it's not technically an investment. Okay, this is insurance. Because it's not taxed, we cannot label it an investment. But if you really look at how it works, it's the best of both worlds. Okay, you're getting an upside and it's liquid for the most part. Now, here's where a lot of people will say, well, hey, this isn't totally liquid all the way. Well, there's your cost, right? There's the catch. You can't get 100% of the dollars that you put in day one, year one. You can't get it back out right away. Now, what's the trade-off? What's the upside? It's all growing for you, okay? Let me kind of build this out and go through this and kind of show you how this works long-term though, because I think you'll find it very advantageous. So both sides are growing at 6%. So the total amount is growing. You can put more in long-term over time using the example on the left, okay? When you have a higher base, this bluish purple box, the higher the base, the more money you can put in over the course of 10, 20, or 30 years, okay? Now, the lower the base on the second example, $20,000 in, 80-20 blend this time, or excuse me, 20-80, right? I don't want to confuse you. The 20% on the base, 80% on the PUA rider. That account is going to look like this. $4,000 is held back the first year. You can immediately loan $16,000 out of your $20,000. Again, both sides of that, all of your $20,000 are earning interest with dividends. In this scenario, you can put less in long term. So the total amount you'll able to put stuff into the policy for 10, 20, or 30 years, the total amount will be a little bit less, and it might actually grow a little bit less the entire time, okay, because of the way that this contractually is structured, but it's more liquid up front. So here you see there's multiple ways that you can strategize this. This all comes down to how liquid you want the policy to be, what you get approved for as someone taking out a policy and asking the insurance company, hey, I want to do business with you. The agent is the middleman helping you to structure and navigate what your numbers should look like, okay? So I don't want to get too in depth on this because it can get a little confusing, especially if you're new to the principles and these types of policies, but here's another example. So the blueprint would look like this, and just so to give you kind of a bigger scale idea, right, of how this works. Usually by 4 to 5 years, you are 100%, every dollar for dollar you've put in, it's liquid now, okay? You can get pretty much everything you put in back out by year 4 or 5. Now, to get to that point, again, as you can see, year 1, it's not gonna be totally liquid, okay? You're gonna have about 80% available. Sometimes, depending on the structure, you might only have 60% available, okay? Now, again, that's not a bad thing. You still have access to 60% of your cash, but when you pull a loan out, all 100% of what you've put in there is earning interest. I keep saying that because it's very important to grasp that concept. Just because you take a loan out does not mean that now only the amount of money left in the policy is earning interest. Every single dollar is still earning interest. So as you can see here, year two total premiums. Every single year, you're putting in another $20,000. By year 2, you put in another 20, so you're at 40,000 total. All of it's earning 4 to 6. 85% is available to loan. Year 3, you've put in $60,000 now. That whole $60,000 is growing and compounding, guaranteed, right? Minimum of 2 to 3% interest, 4 to 6 with dividends, okay? 90% available to loan back out on year 3. Year 4 and 5, it just kind of goes down. Year 4 and 5, it's kind of a wash on how soon, right? Every policy is structured differently, but year 5 to year 4, total premium in, $80,000 total after about 4 to 5 years, and you're at 4 to 6% interest again. 95% is available to loan. So all of your money that entire time is earning interest as you can use it. It's just how liquid do you want it to be? Now, some people say, well, hey, I want this to grow the best it can over time. Well, in that case, we would probably have to structure this more around a 50-50 blend, meaning 50 cents of every dollar you put in is held back for growth, and the other 50% is totally liquid. But again, every single dollar you have going in is earning interest regardless if the money is out. So then you go back to those previous slides and you can think, wow, I can get creative with this. I can pump my money into this loan. I can go pay off some debts. I can go, pump my money into this policy, take a loan, go pay off my house or my car, right? Whatever's left on that amount. And then you could say, well, what if I took a loan and I go put it into other vehicles, right? And then that's on you, where you want to put that money, how you want it to grow. Maybe it's a stock portfolio, maybe it's some private, some real estate, whatever the case may be, right? Any kind of private deal that you have that you want to invest your money in. So again, look at these policies as a different way of utilizing a bank. So with that said, as you can see, there's a lot going on with these policies and there's a lot to learn. So we use a middleman, right? We recommend sitting down with an agent who's licensed and who's been doing this and has experience that can be a mountain Sherpa, okay? A mountain Sherpa, if you're not familiar, is somebody that's gonna help you, if you've never climbed a mountain before, get to the top of the mountain, but more importantly, back down safely. You see, too often in life, I think people try to do things on their own, and that's when you run into issues. If you don't want to hire a coach, you don't want to hire a mentor, you don't want to have somebody walk you through how to do this, and you want to do it on your own, that's completely fine. But people get hurt and have even died trying to scale mountains on their own. So to avoid that danger, work with someone who has experience and knowledge that can look out for all of the pitfalls, because you want to get to the top of the mountain, but you also want to come back down safely. So what does this look like in setting up your blueprint? Here's a couple things to go over. Okay. We have one, we didn't really talk much about even the death benefit. since this is based in life insurance, as a side note, you're going to get a death benefit for your heirs. Okay? Stuffing cash into these policies as the policy grows over time and you keep funding it. Yes, we're using it for a cash play, but you're also getting a death benefit. So when people come to us and they say, hey, I just want to take care of my kids if I pass away, I want a death benefit. And then we dive deeper into the conversation. Well, what if you could get a death benefit and utilize it as a strategy in life to help combat and not pay other people interest, pay yourself interest? You can achieve both of these things. So again, depending on how much is funded with the policy, that death benefit will vary, and we can even tack on some other benefits and riders in there to add and beef up that death benefit if it's not enough for someone's family. Again, just to reiterate, all of the money going into these policies, and when you take loans, all tax-free. The loans do not have to be repaid. It's a big question that we get a lot. Hey, do I have to pay this back right away if I take a loan against my policy? No, as long as you make the minimum premiums the next year and you want to leave that loan out, by all means, you can do that. Now, we also recommend being a good steward of your money, a good banker, right? If you take a loan from the bank, they want you to pay it back with, good reason. You need to reallocate funds back to that account to recapitalize it. We recommend doing the same thing. Every single year, you should try to keep your account paid up, pay the loan back through different sources of income. And again, that's why we recommend working with an advisor to figure out what loan strategy and what income strategy is going to be the best fit for you in your situation. How much do you allocate monthly or quarterly or annually? And then how big of a loan do you take, right? Again, this is just about getting your money moving for you and not staying stagnant. And then another side note, these policies, since they are, again, life insurance based, they are judgment and lawsuit proof, meaning if you're the type of person that has people in your life that want to come after money or the future, scenarios and circumstances where you think, hey, I'm worried I have a successful business here. All I have is an LLC set up, which is not as great a protection mechanism as some people claim or think. The best protection mechanisms in life are trusts and life insurance. So as a side note, a side benefit, besides all the other things that you get with these strategies, it's judgment and proof and lawsuit proof. So a couple things here. To recap, we're doing this to pay yourself first with interest. Recapture lost opportunity cost. If you watch the earlier videos, it's all about not paying other people interest and not losing opportunity cost on your money. If your money could be working somewhere for you instead of just being paid out all the time to other people, the biggest way and the quickest way to wealth is to stop paying other people. It's not just to up your income or add assets. Step one is to stop paying other people out of your current assets. All right, number 3, amplify your assets by making $1 work in multiple places at once. Again, we're learning the art of fractional reserve lending here. Having your dollar earn interest in your policy and that same dollar working for you somewhere else to pay off debts or leverage into other assets. Super powerful stuff. And to move forward here, what we really want to do is talk about the process from here on out. If you decide, hey, I really want to talk to an advisor, I'm not 100% sure if I want to do anything yet, that's okay. We are advisors, we are guides, we are mentors, we are Sherpas. As a mountain Sherpa, if you decide you want to start going up a mountain and you want to turn back because you don't want to go through the process, that's okay. If it's not a fit for you and your family at this time, we are more than happy to tell you, hey, maybe this isn't a fit for you. This is not here, we're not here to sell you something and just take your money and run, right? This is a process. This is a dynamic where we want to cultivate relationships and friendships with people and help families along the way. Because ultimately, this process is about taking money and interest and the power out of the banking systems, the financial systems, and putting it back into the middle class. That's why we do what we do. This education is important. It is not it's not easily understood right away. So it's okay if you need to go back and watch these videos multiple times, or you have multiple questions that you want answered by an advisor. That's what we're here for. So the process looks like this. Since this is based in life insurance, there's some sort of a medical approval by way of application. So we'll have to get you plugged in with an agent or advisor. You then give your information to them. They put it into an application process. What happens from there is we get you approved medically by the insurance company that we decide to place you with. If that's a very quick and easy process, usually sometimes it takes 2 to 3 days. Sometimes it could take a couple weeks, depending on if you have any blips in your medical history. So if you have anything like cancer, heart attack, stroke, any critical illnesses in the last 5 years, please make sure that's something you bring up to someone that you're sitting down and working with who's licensed so that they can notate that on the application. Okay. After that's out of the way, we talk about structuring of the actual policy and design like we talked about in the previous slides. With an experienced team member, you want to sit down and go over your numbers and what you have out there, if you have existing 401ks or money that's sitting out there in a savings account, and what your game plan and strategy is, okay? We hold these webinars weekly where we can go over that in groups, or you can work one-on-one with an advisor. My team is very experienced and we have a lot of great people on the back end. Underwriting process is basically the insurance company going out and looking at all of your credit history, if you have any felonies, anything on your medical records, again, that would prohibit you from getting a policy, okay? And if not, if you're clean, you're good to go and everything checks out with your medical underwriting, we can talk about funding. That's as simple as changing where your money is landing and starting a new account with your insurance account as opposed to your bank account. And then again, there are limits with how much you can put into this. A big question I usually get is how much can I stuff into this? The answer is it depends. We have to abide by those modified endowment contract guidelines. Again, fancy term, MEC. All it means is we can't put too much in, otherwise you get taxed on this, and we want to avoid that. So a lot of information in these presentations. If you want to book a call with our team or jump on the webinars, there are multiple methods to do that, but there's a link below to get connected with the team in every single one of these videos. Go ahead and click that link and get into the process. And again, there's no pressure to do anything or make any decisions here. This is just an educational process to help you along the way to start building levels of your wealth and your future through what we call the fortress and the amplification of assets, okay? This has been the Amplification of Assets presentation series. So now that you know all of this, one important thing, action takers are history makers. You're not going to make any progress or do anything differently in your life if you don't change certain things. So now, after knowing all of this, after going through this whole series, and this is just 1/10 of the amount of information out there on how to grow wealth, okay? Taking action is the most important step. Think about it. If you watch this entire series and then you do nothing, it makes no difference. So the next steps, hit the link in the description if you're interested in taking next steps and getting some more education and starting the process or getting applied. My team would love to have you. This has been the Amplification of Assets series. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to talking to you soon or having somebody on our team help out.